August 20th, 1989. Let's talk about the Menendez brothers. But first, please subscribe to our Warriors channel. People are telling me that they do subscribe, and for some reason, they're being unsubscribed. Also, hit the little button. You'll be notified new videos when they pop up. And also, did you know you can now become a member of the Lynn's Warriors channel? Welcome, welcome, Warrior. Menendez brothers. Depends on your age, but I remember the case 1989 very well. Currently, there is a multi-part series on Netflix, Monster, the story of the Menendez brothers. Let me give you a brief overview. Two brothers living with their parents in Beverly Hills, California, accused and convicted of murdering them. Now, the story is unraveling right now in 2024. Let's look at the landscape in 1989. First of all, each of them were given a separate trial and deadlocked, so ended for both of them in mistrial. Then they were retried together and convicted of life in prison, both of them. However, with the second trial, evidence was not allowed in that trial that was about the emotional, physical, and sexual abuse from both of their parents. Now, remember, 1989, we did not talk about those things, if you're old enough to remember, out in the open. We did not talk about these family issues. Even today, 2024, taboo. People don't want to talk about it. People hiding lots of secrets. Evidence has also come forth that at the time, the two brothers, Eric being the youngest, born in 1970, Lyle being born in 1968, that when Lyle, the oldest one, was at Princeton, he told his roommate about the abuse he suffered at the hands of his parents. Also, Lyle reported to another friend. Eric also reported to a cousin back at the time, when he was a youngster. And I don't know, because this on Netflix is, a dramatization, obviously, because they're both in prison. But I believe them. Now, I'm in no way, shape, or form suggesting you go and murder your parents. And I don't want to spoil the story for you, because I do want you to watch it on Netflix and we can talk about it again. I do want you to read up about them and the history. But we have to start looking at what is making people do something like that. Again, I want to say I'm in no way condoning what they did and what they admitted to doing. But what makes a child grow up and do something, as a teenager, as a young adult, or what makes a child do something? We've certainly seen a lot of recently cases with children. We have cases of human trafficking, sex trafficking victims who have killed their trafficker or pimp, and they're going to prison instead of the trafficker or the pimp. So we really have to think about and talk about these issues. It's very important, but this case, it dominated, if you remember back to Court TV, it dominated the airwaves, two brothers, and there was whispers and things about what the parents were doing to them, especially the father. But nothing was really ever focused on that or discussed. And again, there were whispers. This, I guess I'll call it a docudrama on Netflix right now. If an ounce of that, what they portray, is true, then it's overall disgusting. We don't protect children. Children do not have an outlet. We know a lot about these familial, incestuous type of things happening in homes, yet little is done about it. We also know that there's a lot of shame and guilt. Children will not speak up. It is also that dynamic of power, right? A child and an adult. And the child is scared, right? The child is in fear because that adult who is still the parent is the one providing the roof over their heads, the food, everything. That's all they know. It becomes normal for them. But this is interesting because Jose Menendez, there's also a case of, remember the boy bands that were prevalent in the 90s, that one of them visited their home in New Jersey, where they were living at the time, and he was abused by Jose Menendez. And he's talking about this now. He was 15 at the time. So, this was, Jose Menendez was a man who was from Cuba and then met his wife, Kitty, in, I believe they met in school, college. They moved to New York City, and he put himself through, I think it was Queens College, the father, very domineering, very go-getter, very tough. And then from New York City area, they moved to Blackwood, New Jersey. And then he had a job offer when the boys were, I don't know, somewhere around like 13 and 15, somewhere around there, where they moved to a beautiful home in Beverly Hills. Now, violence, death, these secrets, the abuses, we have to get a handle on them, right? This was 1989. It's been going on for decades, hundreds of years. Trace it all the way back, as far as boys and men are concerned, back to the Romans and all that. But I want to remind you, let us, if we know of anything, hear of anything, see it of anything, you need to report it. You need to say something. RAINN is a wonderful organization, RAINN. I'm going to put all this information in the body of the video, but I do urge you to watch this docudrama or at least read up about it, because it's not always what it seems, right? Things are not black, white. Things are always gray. Again, we're not condoning violence, but we have to dig deeper. We have to look into things, especially with children and what goes on with them. And that, for me, so vivid, 1989. Now here we are in 2024, and the warriors, we work on these issues all the time, and these devastating outcomes, and lives are ruined. We have to do better. Always report something. You will not be held accountable. We must maintain that we are warriors, that our hashtag is community creates change. When a child says something, you need to listen, because they always tell you. And what I mean by that, if they don't use words, they use actions, they act out. There's always something behind the scenes. So watch this multi-part series. Let's talk about it. Let's look into their story. There is talk in the legal world of they will be retried. They've been in prison now. I believe they were finally sentenced in, I think it was 1998. Don't hold me to that. So we're going towards that 30-year mark. They were also very close as brothers. And when they were finally being brought to prison, they thought they were going to the same prison. And they were each taken to a separate prison. But a couple of years back, they were, one of them was put in the same prison as the other one. So they're in the same unit, building unit. And they hadn't seen each other in 20-something years at the time when they had this reunion. I know it's a tough story. I know it's a tough issue. I know, going around killing parents is not the answer. But we have to investigate, look at. Other people knew about this. Eric and Lyle, as children, reported things that fell on deaf ears, even suggesting the mother looked the other way. A common scenario, you might say, how can a mother ignore this? How can a mother allow this, condone it? But they do, because they are also, for the most part, victims of something. So watch it, Monsters, on Netflix. Let us honor our community hashtag, Community Creates Change, and many of you are. And I must throw out a great big thank you. Thank you for all of the goods that have been coming in, the donations. We'll be setting up our fall festival that we'll have next month at some point, where we give away blankets and socks and food items and toiletries and hats and gloves and books and food for our vulnerable communities. And thank you for participating in all of that. Please always follow lynswarriors.org, our website. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. I ask everybody can and must do one thing a day. If all you do is retweet something, read something and educate yourself, share a fact with your child or a friend, whatever, do one little thing every day, because that is what a warrior does. So always, we are humbled, we are grateful, and we've only just started with the warriors. Because stay tuned, we have a lot of great initiatives, things happening, media projects, and I want all of you who have been with me all along as we build, continue to be with me. Community creates change. Remember each and every day, go out and be a warrior.